We ain't doing face cam this time. Just like every other video, I don't necessarily have a script or anything, but this video is going to be about Kanye and his most recent actions. I just want to let you know, first and foremost, I'm not paid by Kanye. I'm a fan of Kanye and I think he's a musical genius, but all because I think he's a musical genius, it does not mean I agree with literally everything this man does. However, I do feel like the media doesn't necessarily portray Kanye in the right light. I just think personally, if we know the media excludes context in certain situations and kind of reads in between the lines and others to try to make excuses for people, then I don't understand why we don't see it the same way for Kanye. I mean, the thing about Kanye is this, man. He's been making controversial statements literally since the beginning of his career. I think 2005, where Hurricane Katrina happened, basically saying George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
In the past few days,
if that ain't the most based fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life, then I don't know what is, bro. And Kanye's been doing this for forever, so I don't know why people are still surprised. I'm not gonna speak on the Jewish thing Kanye said. That's a whole different thing. I ain't Jewish, and I don't know nothing about that, okay? I just wanna say I don't know nothing about that, okay? I don't know shit about that. I don't know if he was wishing on Jews. I read the tweet, and it didn't look like he was wishing on Jews, but I can see how people would think that way. I don't know. I just don't think that way personally. I think people were taking his words literally. You look at some of the things Kanye has said and done in the past couple of weeks, and me personally, I don't see the big deal. I ain't gonna lie. The whole White Lives Matter shirt, after he explained it, I was like, okay, cool. And even then, and all this is just my opinion, right? I was never in my life going to wear a BLM shirt, and I was never in my life going to wear a White Lives Matter shirt. You want to know why? Because I'm not going to wear a shirt for an organization I don't support. You see what I'm saying? Like, I support the message. Yes, Black lives do matter, right? But I feel like in most of these cases, they like exclude context, you know what I mean, on both sides. Obviously, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter. It was Black Lives Matter too. White Lives Matter too. You see what I'm saying? And even though we already know White Lives Matter, and it's been hammered to us like literally forever. I mean, shit, they even made Jesus white. You feel me? I do understand why people have a problem with that, but I don't think it's that big of a deal that Jaden Smith needed to tweet something like Black Lives Matter, I'm out of here, I had to dip, blah blah blah, because I don't think Jaden has done anything for black people. And on the other hand, Kanye hanging out with Candace Owens, I have no problem with Candace Owens, but I think every single political person, no matter what, is a grifter. They all grift. I definitely think in that way Kanye should have just did that by himself. I don't think he needed to include Candace Owens. I don't hate Candace Owens or anything, because at the end of the day, these are just opinions. These are just ideas people have, and if you don't have the power to enforce those ideas, then it doesn't mean anything. I think some people disregard that as well, where it's like, these people are not in power. They can't make any decisions, nor will they ever be in power. Because if Candace Owens wanted to run for president, not only would she not get the presidency, if she did get the presidency, she'd literally shit her fucking pants. So that's why I'm not worried about that. The only person that could probably get presidency that legitimately wants it is Kanye, and even then I think Kanye probably still shit his pants if he became president. So these ideas that people have, it's like, if you can't enforce those ideas, I don't have a right to feel some type of way about you. You know what I'm saying? Again, all of this is just my opinion. I feel like I should keep reiterating this point because I feel like some people might forget, but all this is my opinion. If you think differently than me, that's cool. Just don't fucking be in the comment section sucking dick about it, because I don't give a fuck that much. And regardless if he's going through a mental episode right now or not, I don't think the stuff that he said was particularly false. You know what I'm saying? About the BLM organization. I think he should really go after the organization and not the message, because when you go after the organization is literally named BLM, right? They took BLM, turned it into shirts, they donated to BLM, all that type of shit. So I could see definitely how people could conflate the two, but the organization is shitty. I mean, literally, Patrice Coolers, or whatever the fuck you say her stupid ass name, just renovated her backyard because she lives in LA in a $1.4 million house, and we're sitting up here yelling at Kanye for wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. I only really mention that to say, like, we have bigger problems to worry about. Like, Kanye in a WLM shirt is not gonna change anything, you know, because people disagree with him, as you should. If you want to, go ahead, disagree with this nigga. This nigga ain't Jesus or nothing like that. When it comes to Kanye, is he's gonna do whatever he can that's controversial to get people to start talking about him, and then he'll come through with an actual message. But I don't think this is the way he should have did it. I mean, if Kanye just randomly tweeted that out, they probably would have had the same effect. To be honest with you, he didn't need to link up with Candace Owens and do that thing or whatever to perpetrate the message. He could have just posed by himself. But Kanye's gonna do what he thinks is right regardless. I try not to be a hypocrite. I always tell people to mind their fucking business, right, when it comes to these celebrities and stuff, because these people don't know shit for the most part, right? But I also want to tell people, like, hey, sometimes you need to bring up context. Sometimes you need to think deeper than just surface level to understand what the fuck somebody got going on. And I'm not even going to bring up the whole people treat Kanye's mental episodes differently, because truthfully, I don't think this is a mental episode Kanye is going through. Like, sometimes he'll just be off social media probably because he's handling business, and then he'll come back and just go on rants and shit like that. And Kanye's been doing that for years now. I don't know if all of that's been one big mental episode or all of those have been individual mental episodes or whatever. I can't say anything. I don't know if he takes meds or not for that type of thing. But one thing I do know is that when he had that interview with Tucker Carlson, which really, nigga, Tucker Carlson, seriously, of all people, goddamn. Anyway, I really looked at this nigga, and this doesn't look like somebody who's going through a mental episode that's going crazy. Maybe at his home he's probably going crazy, but nigga, these are just tweets. You don't know how this man is saying this in his head. You don't know how he's going about it. You don't know if he's breaking his phone, typing aggressively to get his message across or not. I don't know, man. Like, I don't agree with everything Kanye does, but I love Kanye. He's one of my most listened to artists on Spotify and Apple Music and all those services, you know what I'm saying? So I listen to his music quite a bit, and some people may think that because I do that or because other people do that, then we're just saying like, oh, just because it's Kanye. But like, nigga, that's part of the double standard. I ain't gonna lie, because if Drake was doing this shit, I'd be like, this nigga Drake is crazy. This nigga is crazy. But since it's Kanye, I give him a bit of a pass. And honestly, some people do. I think it is what it is, to be honest, because it just depends on the person. If this was Nicki Minaj, the barbs would be sucking the clit off this woman just to give her 10 million different excuses as to why she's doing what she's doing. Yes, this is a double standard thing. Double standards exist in the world. I just think that people need to give Kanye a fair shake and really listen to this man, because I've been seeing some shit that was said about him on Twitter that's like, okay, come on. Like, I don't think he's wishing death on Jews. There is a theory that Jews own everything, blah blah blah, but other people have said this before. This isn't like new hard-hitting information that Kanye just discovered that he's telling us. Like, no, we've been known this. And again, I don't know if that's true. I don't look into what, you know, individual people own or what the ethnicity of people that own stuff are. I don't know. I don't think about that shit often, so I would have no idea. But I think when it comes to Kanye, it's just the fact that he thinks so freely that people really can't get over, because people have been saying this about him since he was with Trump. And this is before, I don't know if he was going on rants at that time, but I really don't think he was going on rants at that time at all. And people were just calling him crazy and a sellout and Uncle Tom and a coon and all this other shit, and not really understanding that, hey, this person can have a different political opinion than you and not be crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people who follow Trump who I don't think are crazy. You may think that they're wrong, and that's cool. I think that they're wrong too, to a certain degree. But I'm not going to look at this man and be like, if you support this person publicly, that's career suicide. And Kanye is just that person that if you tell him not to do something, he's going to do it. That was instilled in him via his mother and a whole bunch of other things that he's encountered in life. So to bring this whole thing to a conclusion, I'm not saying I'm supporting everything that he's doing, and I'm not saying that everything he's doing is wrong, but people go through things, man. If this is one big episode, I hope he gets through it. But if this is how he thinks, there's nothing wrong with having somebody that thinks differently than you. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if he words it poorly, he needs to reword that shit. For sure. Like, he needs to reword it. I ain't gonna lie to you. He definitely needs to reword it. People have differing opinions, man. That's just how the world operates. And if you can't get with that, then you just got to get left behind.